Namo Buddhaya. Welcome back to our journey through the life of the Supreme Buddha. Now, in our last episode, do you remember what we learned? We learned about some very special things, some marvelous and miraculous things that's related to a Bodhisattva's birth. I hope you remember what some of them are. So today we are going to continue to learn about our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha. In the last episode, we learned a new word. Do you remember what the word is? We learned the word Bodhisattva. Do you remember what the word Bodhisattva means? Yes, it meant the person who's going to become the Supreme Buddha. Now, today we are going to continue to learn about the life of this Bodhisattva who's going to become a Supreme Buddha. Before we start today's episode, I want to ask you a question. My dear children, have you seen people who have very special talents and abilities? Once there was a person who could pull a train tied onto his hair. Isn't that miraculous? And once there was another person who could pull an airplane that's tied up onto his nail. Now imagine how powerful those people might have been. And not only that, once there was a girl named Sophia who could speak 6 languages by the time she was 2 months old. Now, how miraculous is that? Usually, kids can only talk when they're around 8 or 9 months, isn't it? But this girl was very special. She was able to speak 6 languages by the time she was only 2 months old. Do you know why some people get these special powers and abilities? You see, kids, in the past, we all have done good things. When we do good things, we get good results. We collect a lot of merit. But some people do a lot of good than other people. So those people who does a lot of good things, those people who do a lot of good actions, get good results in their next life because they have a lot of merit. So that's why some people have very special talents and abilities. Now, my dear kids, out of this whole world, our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, was the person who had the most amount of merit. Who was the person who had the most amount of merit? Our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha. Why is that? Because in his past lives, he did a lot of good things. He helped people, he gave alms, and he respected people, he took care of people, and not only that, he protected precepts. He didn't kill living beings, he didn't steal, he didn't lie. In that way, he collected a lot of merit because he did a lot of good actions. So today, we are going to continue to learn about the little Bodhisattva. Now, do you remember where we left off last time? Yes, we were talking about how the Bodhisattva was conceived in Queen Mahamaya's womb. Now, Queen Mahamaya was this little Bodhisattva's mother. Who was the father? Do you remember? Yes, it was King Suddhodana. So once this little Bodhisattva baby was conceived in Queen Mahamaya's womb, Queen Mahamaya and King Suddhodana were very happy. Remember in the last episode we talked about the special, miraculous and marvelous things that happen when a Bodhisattva is born? On that day, we talked about how the mother is able to see the baby, how the mother is able to play with the baby and speak with the baby, didn't we? So like that, Queen Mahamaya was able to see the baby and play with the baby. So she enjoyed herself talking to the baby and seeing the baby growing up in her womb. And remember, the mother enjoyed all the pleasures in the world. So in that way, Queen Mahamaya got all the pleasures in the world. She never became sick, she didn't feel tired, she was very happy. So little by little, time passed by. And remember, in the last episode, we said, when a bodhisattva is conceived in the mother's womb, she carries the baby for exactly how many months? Do you remember? Yes. In the last episode, we learned that when a bodhisattva is conceived in the mother's womb, the mother carries the baby for exactly 10 months. Remember? So little by little, time passed by and it got close to being 10 months. Now Queen Mahamaya and King Suddhodana were very happy. They were very happy. So when it got close to being 10 months, Queen Mahamaya went to see King Suddhodana. You see, kids, in the past, in the olden times, it was a custom for the mother to go and visit her parents before giving birth to her baby. So, to follow that custom, Queen Mahamaya went and told King Suddhodana that it's almost 10 months and that she must go and visit her parents before giving birth to the baby. So King Suddhodana said, "All right, my dear queen, I'll arrange everything you need." Now, my dear kids, do you think that Queen Mahamaya just got on a regular vehicle and left to see her parents? Of course not. Queen Mahamaya is a royal person. She's a royal queen. And not only that, she's carrying a very special baby. So, King Suddhodana arranged a special parade for her. So, along with servants and maidens, Queen Mahamaya got into a beautifully decorated vehicle and she left to see her parents. Now, when we go on trips, what do we usually do? We like to sit by the window and look out, don't we? We like to look out the window and enjoy the scenery. We like to watch the beautiful mountains, the beautiful lakes, the beautiful rivers, and the beautiful beaches, don't we? So just like that, Queen Mahamaya was enjoying the scenery. She was sitting by the window and she was enjoying the beautiful mountains and the beautiful lakes. Little by little, she got closer to her parents' house. But on the way, something caught her attention. She saw a beautiful park. This park was a sultry park, and the name of this park was Lumbini. What was the name? Lumbini. It was called the Lumbini Sultry Park. When Queen Mahamaya saw this beautiful sultry park, she was really happy. The flowers were all bloomed. The trees were in full bloom, and the smell of the flowers was spreading everywhere. Queen Mahamaya could smell the fragrance of the flowers even too far away. So she really wanted to go and see this park. So what did she do? She called on the servants and asked them to stop the vehicle. And then Queen Mahamaya got off the vehicle and went to the park along with her maidens. The park was so beautiful. The green grass was soft to her feet, and the cold breeze gave her a nice, comfortable feeling. She was enjoying the scenery and watching one tree to another. She was strolling through the park along with her maidens. Now, on the way, she saw a very special sal tree. What did she see? She saw a very special sal tree. When she saw this tree, she wanted to go near it. So, Queen Mahamaya went closer to this tree and she wanted to hold on to a branch that was a bit high up on the tree. So, she raised her arm and tried to reach that branch. Just then, something very miraculous happened. Because it was a bit high up in the tree and she was trying to reach it, the branch automatically drooped down so that Queen Mahamaya could reach the branch easily. So, Queen Mahamaya held on to the branch. And when she held on to the branch, she felt a bit odd. She didn't feel right. At that moment, she realized that it was time for her to give birth to her baby. So she told her servants and her maidens to arrange everything that's needed to give birth to the baby. So what did the servants do? They drew curtains all around Queen Mahamaya to give her privacy. So while holding on to that sal tree branch, Queen Mahamaya gave birth to the baby. Remember in the last episode we said something special, something miraculous and marvelous about a bodhisattva's birth is that the mother gives birth to the baby while standing up, unlike regular mothers who sit down and lie down on beds when giving birth. So just like that, Queen Mahamaya held on to that branch while standing up. She gave birth to the baby. Now, dear kids, at that moment, something very miraculous happened. A bright light spread throughout the whole world. It was so bright that it even spread as far as the very dark worlds called the hell, where bad people who do bad things are born in. There was one very special thing that happened the moment this little bodhisattva baby was born. And there was another special thing, another miraculous thing that happened. We talked about it in the last episode. Remember? When a bodhisattva is born, 2 water springs appear on the ground. One is a cold water spring and the other is a hot water spring. So, when our little baby bodhisattva was born, these water springs appeared on the ground and it bathed both the mother and the baby. And at that time, 4 Brahmas from the Brahma world came to welcome the baby. The 4 Brahmas came to Queen Mahamaya and took the baby onto a golden cloth. They were so happy to see the little baby. The baby was so beautiful. He had bright blue eyes, he had rosy cheeks, and he was golden in color. His skin was gold. And he had rosy feet, and he was smiling beautifully. So, the 4 Brahmas took the baby onto the golden cloth and observed the baby very carefully. And then they passed the baby on to the 4 great kings. Now you must remember who the 4 great kings are. Remember we talked about them when we talked about Queen Mahamaya's dream. They were the ones who held and lifted Queen Mahamaya's bed and took her down to Lake Anvatapta. And we talked about them again and we said that these great kings, these 4 kings, are the ones that protect the Bodhisattva baby and the mother once the Bodhisattva is conceived in the mother's womb. So these 4 great kings protected and guarded this baby for 10 months. So when this baby was in their hands, they were so happy. They were so happy to see the little baby. Because remember, it's not a regular baby. It's a very special baby. Once the 4 great kings observed the little baby very carefully, they happily went and gave the baby to Queen Mahamaya. They said, "Oh, my dear Queen, you must be happy. You must be very happy. A very, 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 very meritorious baby is born to you." And then they gave the little baby to Queen Mahamaya's hands. Now something very interesting happened right there. When the 4 great kings gave the baby to Queen Mahamaya's hand, the little baby jumped off of Queen Mahamaya's hands and he stood up on the ground. Now remember, this is a Bodhisattva baby who had a lot of past merit because he did a lot of good actions. Because of that, this little Bodhisattva baby was able to stand up on his own just at his birth. Now a normal baby is not able to do that. Only a Bodhisattva baby is able to do this. So this little Bodhisattva baby stood up on the ground and he looked at the 4 directions. He looked at the northern side, the east, the south, and the west. Then he looked again to the northern side and he stepped forward. What did he do? He walked forward. He took 7 steps. And each time he took a step, a lotus flower bloomed off the ground. So before his little feet would touch the ground, a lotus flower would bloom from the ground. So he took 1 step, a lotus would bloom. He took the 2nd step, and another lotus would bloom. In this way, he took 7 steps and 7 lotus flowers bloomed off the ground. Now at that moment, something miraculous happened. This little baby Bodhisattva raised his hand. What did he do? He raised his hand and he raised his index finger and he did a lion's row. He said something very, very special. Now remember, a normal child, a normal baby is not able to speak just when they are born, are they? But because this is a very special baby, this baby Bodhisattva is able to speak just when he is born. So after he took the 7 steps, he raised his hand, he raised his index finger, and he said a very special chant. He said, Aggo hamasmi lokasya. That means, I am chief to the world. He said, Jetto hamasmi lokasya. I am the eldest in the world. And then he said, Setto hamasmi lokasya. I am the most supreme. I am the greatest in the world. I am Antima Jati. This is my last birth. Natti dani punabbhavoti. I will not be reborn again. Now, isn't that a lion's roar? When he said this chant, everyone around was surprised. They were so surprised to hear the baby speak like this. What did he say? He said, I am the chief to the world. I am the eldest in the world. I am the most supreme in the world. This is my final birth. I will never be reborn again. Now imagine a baby saying this. Isn't it very miraculous? Isn't it very marvelous? Now remember, kids, only a bodhisattva can do this because he has a lot of past merit. He is the person who has the most amount of merit in this world. So once he said this, everyone around was shaken up because it was like a lion's roar. Do you know what a lion's roar is? You see, kids, before a lion goes out to hunt, he comes out of his cave and he stretches. Then he climbs onto a mountain. He goes high up onto the mountain and then he looks in the 4 directions, just like what the Bodhisattva baby did. The lion looks to the north, the lion looks to the east, he looks to the south, and he looks to the west. Then the lion roars 3 times. How many times does it roar? It roars 3 times, just like how the baby said 3 things. And once the lion roars, everyone around gets shaken up because it's that powerful. The roar is so powerful, everyone around gets shaken up. So just like that, this little baby Bodhisattva did a lion's roar. He said 3 things after looking at the 4 directions. He said, I am the chief to the world. I am the eldest in the world. And he said, I am the most supreme in the world. And what did he say after? He said, this is my last birth. I will not be reborn again. Now you see, kids, this is a very miraculous and special thing that we can see in the life of a bodhisattva. You will never hear of something like this in any other person's life. So today, we learned about the birth of our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha. We talked about how Queen Mahamaya went to visit her parents before giving birth to the baby. And then on the way, what did she see? She saw the Lumbini Sal Tree Park. And the trees were in full bloom and it was so beautiful. So when she saw the park, what did she want to do? She wanted to go inside the park and enjoy the scenery. So she went from tree to tree and she saw a very special tree. And what happened when she reached that high branch on that tree? Yes, she understood that it was time for her to give birth to the baby.